Good morning, Winnemucca Wolves. I'm so happy to be here again for you, reading you a story. So today, our book is called The Great White Man-Eating Shark, A Cautionary Tale by Margaret Mahy. The Great White Man-Eating Shark, A Cautionary Tale by Margaret Mahy, pictures by Jonathan Allen, and published by Dial Books for young readers in New York. There once was a boy called Norvin, who was a good actor, but rather plain. In fact, he looked very like a shark. He had a small, sharkish eyes, a pointed, sharkish head, and sharp, sharkish teeth. Unfortunately, there are not many plays written with good parts for sharks, so Norvin took up swimming instead. He soon became a good swimmer and learned to shoot through the water like a silver arrow. Norvin lived near a wonderful beach called Caramel Cove, but he had to share it with lots of other swimmers. When Norvin tried shooting through the water like a silver arrow, the other swimmers got in his way. This made him cross and resentful. That is definitely looking pretty cross and pretty resentful. What's the use of being able to shoot through the water like a silver arrow if everyone gets in my way? He thought. So he came up with a wicked plan. Out of plastic, he made himself a dorsal fin of a great white man-eating shark. Then he strolled around the headland, thought a few sharkish thoughts, and strapped it on and slid into the clear blue water. Mrs. Scorpio, who ran the bakery, was bobbing harmlessly up and down in the waves when suddenly she saw the dorsal fin of a great white man-eating shark heading straight for her. If you're swimming and you see a great white man-eating shark heading straight for you, the thing to do is to leave the water in a quiet, dignified way. But Mrs. Scorpio did not know this. "Shark! Shark!" she yelled, and flung herself onto the sand, screaming and kicking with terror. Yes, that would not be quiet or dignified. What a panic there was! Up and down Caramel Cove, people grabbed up their children, their dogs, inflatable canoes. Within moments, the sand was crowded with dripping bodies, and the sea was completely empty. Everyone stared despairingly at the cruising dorsal fin. Many people thought they could just make out the shape of a great white man-eating shark cutting through the water beneath it. Norvin wore the expression a great white man-eating shark always wears when it is hungry, and his acting was so good, even when he came up to breathe, people were convinced he was actually looking for prey. It was a very hot day, but nobody dared go swimming again. Norvin had the whole of Caramel Cove to himself. He spent all afternoon shooting backwards and forwards like a silver arrow. Everyone else watched enviously, sighing and rubbing suntan lotion onto one another. No one dared to share the sea with a great white man-eating shark. At last, Norvin swam around the headland and vanished from sight. After that, everyone except Norvin was too scared to go swimming in Caramel Cove. "Norvin, come out at once!" his friends cried. "There's a great white man-eating shark hanging around these parts." Norvin laughed. "Nonsense," he said. "It is probably only a whale shark or even a basking shark, and they are vegetarians, you know." Norvin had the entire beach to himself for 3 whole days. However, soon a few brave people, tired of seeing Norvin shooting to and fro like a silver arrow, started swimming again. Others joined them, and soon everyone was splashing around happily once more, enjoying the swimming and the summer. But Norvin had grown used to having the beach to himself. He strolled around the headland, put on his dorsal fin, and swam back into Caramel Cove. Mr. Dorsey, the plumber, was showing his little boy, Courtney, how to stand on his head in the water, something a plumber sometimes has to do. Suddenly, he found himself nose to nose with Norvin. He did not recognize Norvin, of course. He thought he was nose to nose with the great white man-eating shark. If you find yourself nose to nose with a shark, the thing to do is leave the water quietly, just as if your only thought was to rub in more suntan lotion. Mr. Dorsey did not know this. "Shark! Shark!" he yelled, grabbing up Courtney. He flung himself onto the sand, kicking and screaming in terror. Within minutes, Norvin had the beach to himself once more. No one dared go swimming for a week at Caramel Cove. No one, except Norvin, that is. He shot to and fro like a silver arrow, while others watched longingly from the beach. Soon they could stand it no longer, and a few brave people decided to take a risk, and Caramel Cove was once more splashing and bubbling with happy swimmers. Norvin, however, was becoming very greedy. He wanted Caramel Cove all to himself, all the time. So he strolled around the headland, put on his dorsal fin once more, then he swam back to Caramel Cove, laughing to himself as he thought of all the terror he would cause. But suddenly, he felt he was not alone. Someone was swimming beside him. Who could it be? He looked out of the corner of his eye, and there, nuzzling up to him, was a great white, man-eating shark, a female, which means it was a girl. Norvin was such a good actor that she did not realize he was merely pretending to be a shark. She gave him a very loving glance. "You are the shark of my dreams," she said. "Marry me at once, or I shall lose my temper and bite you." He shot like a silver arrow, dorsal fin and all, toward the beach, and flung himself onto the sand, where he lay, kicking and screaming with terror. Everyone could see at a glance just what Norvin had been up to. Uh-oh. The people of Caramel Cove put up a shark net across the mouth of the bay, but for the rest of the summer, Norvin sat on the beach, watching other swimmers shoot back and forwards like silver arrows. He had such a terrible shock that, shark net or not, he was too frightened to go swimming for a long, long time. Though he was a plain boy, he had made a rather good-looking shark, and I think he was very wise not to take any dangerous chances. The end. All right. We got a joke for you. Now, you remember my Stripey Snoopy, right? Let's see what he can find today. Okay. Oh, he found a good one. What do dogs bring to class on their birthday? Pupcakes! Get it? Pupcakes. All right. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Mwah!